Hello and welcome to Facebook Live with the CEO. I am Ronaldo Hardy. I'm so glad to be here with you on this Monday. I know we were supposed to do this last week, but nobody expected the snow to come and all of the wintry weather that interrupted all of the things that we were trying to do here in Louisiana. Go figure, right? But so glad to have you here today. And we really want to talk about, New Year's resolutions. And I know many of you have made a conscious effort or said that you want to make a conscious effort to get your finances on track in the new year. And so we want to help you to stay financially fit this year. And I want to tell a story that has nothing to do with finances, but everything to do with knowing what it takes to develop the discipline to accomplish a goal in a year's time. So a lot of you may have paid attention to my weight as we've gone through this process of doing these live videos. The first one came up in my memories just about a week ago, I believe. And when I looked, I'm like, oh my God, who's that guy? But a year ago, I made a decision that I was going to get serious about my health and that I wanted to focus on losing weight. I had said this every single year leading up to last year, and I knew that something was going to have to change. So I made sure that I put something in place where I had accountability partners that will make sure that I stayed on track. Not only did I figure out what plan would work for me, which for me it ended up being portion control, because I just knew that I could not give up all of the things I like eating right away. And we live in Louisiana and the food's good, right? But I knew that if I had a process to be held accountable, allowing people into my life who can know what I'm doing and check up on me, it would help me to stay on track. And because of that, I lost 50 pounds last year. I went from a size 40 in the waist to 34. You can only imagine how many clothes I bought since then, which I guess doesn't really help you to stay financially fit. But hey, I needed a new wardrobe, right? But anyway, I know many of you are trying to stay on the right financial track this year and you want to get financially fit. And I would say to that you're going to need to do the same thing. You're going to have to figure out how to develop the discipline to be successful on your journey. And a lot of that is going to have to do with how well you're able to implement incremental steps. Sometimes we try to go so drastic that it's just unrealistic to get it done. But if you start with things that you can do incrementally, you'll grow to the level you want to grow to. And make sure with this that you engage some people and even us to help you to remain accountable on your financial fitness journey. I guess that's what we'll call it today. So here's a few things that you can do to help you stay on track. Some incremental things that you can look at. Number one, make sure you take control of your monthly bills and expenses really quickly. And that's going to mean that you need to sit down and get an idea of what you have to pay. Now, I know some of you gave in to the temptation during the holiday season and you probably opened some of those store credit cards. It might not have been the best idea, but we're here now, It's just like when I used to eat those soft and spicy cracklings all the time out here. It wasn't the best idea, even though it tasted good in the moment. But once I got to the point that I wanted to change, I needed to make an adjustment. And so the first thing you need to do is know what's going on with your monthly bills, have an idea, and develop a plan to make sure you get those things paid. Also look at how you can reduce those monthly bills. There's different things that we do as it relates to entertainment, maybe the money we spend on clothes, even something as simple as a high cable bill that you may have. Maybe it's a good idea for you to pull back, get out of cable, and get your Hulu account. But then also be careful with that, because if you open 10 or 15 new subscriptions, you end up paying the same amount that you pay for cable. So you may want to eliminate some of those. Find one good platform you like, maybe two at the most, very inexpensive. Utilize that, reduce your monthly expenses, and then use that money to be directed towards paying something else off. We want to get you out of debt as quickly as possible. If you need help with that, come in and talk to us. The second thing, let's look at reducing credit card debt. So that kind of ties into the first one. Make sure that you are looking at the credit card debt you have, and let's put a plan in place to accelerate the payment. Pay one off, use that snowball method, right? Pay off the smallest one, redirect those funds to the next one, or just come into us and consolidate all of it into a lower monthly payment that will help you not only to reduce how much you're paying per month, but help you to accelerate the timeline for getting out of that debt. Because if you're just paying the minimum monthly payment every month, let me tell you, it's gonna take you quite a while to get out of that debt. So please come talk to us. We can look at your credit card debt, look at consolidating it, look at how we can reduce that for you. Third thing, we gotta start working on an emergency fund. We need to have finances in order to respond to emergencies that may come up. And living in Louisiana, an emergency can look a number of different ways. You can have a flood that comes out of nowhere. It's not a named storm. It happened. It happened in 2016. Or we could have a hurricane. Or out of the blue, maybe the cold weather came in and caused your pipes to burst. So whatever the case may be, maybe you lose a job. Emergencies can come in a number of different forms and shapes, and you want to make sure that you are prepared when that happens. So let's start where you are. However much money you make, start putting a little bit aside, and so that you can save some money in case something was to happen. You want to make sure you're in a position to respond and not have to always go in debt in order to address that. And then the final thing, make sure you also focus on yourself. Outside of making sure you focus on your finances, let's look at some of the things that you've been putting on hold for the longest. What are your visions and your dreams and your goals that you wanted to do? And what more could you do to accomplish those things if you had financial peace? Think about that and make sure that you take some time to map out your vision for 2018. I hope that you kind of have that in place by now, but if you don't, that's your challenge. That by the next time you see me, you should already have your vision and your goals mapped out for 2018. I promise it's not going to just haphazardly happen. It has to be something that you plan towards, get a plan in place, and allow someone to help you to be accountable. And I promise you'll have the success that you desire to see. And with that said, I want to open up for questions that you all may have for me.
All right, we got some questions. Yes. How much money should I put aside for emergency fund?
So with an emergency fund, it's recommended that you work to try to get that up to 6 months of your monthly expenses. But even I know that number can seem large when you have nothing. So let's just start with 1 month. Let's figure out how we get to 1 month and then work from 1 to 2 all the way till we get to 6. When you do have 6 months, you're in a healthier position. But we want you to start wherever you are and let's start building.
All right, I have a hard time saving for the distant future. How can the credit union help?
Well, we have a plethora of different savings options for you. Obviously, you can open up a savings account that you can use to build that emergency fund at any point in time. But we also have some specialized accounts as well, such as a Christmas club that helps you when the holiday season comes. Because doesn't it seem like Christmas comes around so fast when you're an adult? Like when you're a child, it takes forever for Christmas to come. But when you're an adult, you're like, wait a minute, I just spent all this money just yesterday. That's how it feels. So we want to help you with that. You can get a Christmas club account with us or a vacation, club account. We want you to be able to enjoy yourself on vacation. So we'll help you plan with that. But we have a plethora of different savings options that you can take advantage of. Just come in and speak with someone here and we'll make that happen for you.
I want to apply for a personal loan. How can I calculate how much the loan payment will be?
It's really easy. Go to swlacu.com. SW Southwest, Louisiana, LA, right? CU.com. If you go to swlacu.com, you can utilize our free online loan calculators that will help you. You can also apply for that loan on our website or at any point in time that you want to call us to come in. Look, we're always here to serve you, so feel free to do so.
What advice would you give someone who wants to start fresh with their finances this year?
The advice I would give you is to come in and have a conversation with us. We are gearing up. Not only do we already have a large portion of our staff who are certified financial counselors, we're sending all of the rest of the staff who are not currently certified through that certification this year. So sometime this year, 100% of our employees will be certified financial counselors to be able to help you whatever your financial condition is, we want to be able to map you through it. We have different accounts to help you, such as a Fresh Start checking account for those who may have made some mistakes in the past with their checking. It helps to get you on track. We have different things in place to help you to understand what's going on with your credit, how you rebuild, and how you position yourself for the long-term success you want to see. So the best thing I can ask you to do is come in, talk with someone here, and I promise we'll get you on the right track.
How can I get my kids involved with our family's finances this year?
Well, a few different things. One, they need to see you model it, right? So it's a good idea for you to start having the conversations with them. You know, when you're going grocery shopping, take them with you and talk to them about what you're doing. I routinely have conversations with my kids about money, and number one, that it doesn't grow on trees, which I know we all say, right? But I also help them to understand what it is that we're responsible, for in a month's time. And then also when we're going shopping, I help them to understand why we may buy a certain thing, why we may not buy something based upon what our goals are. So I advise you to bring them into the discussion. It's never too early to do that. A lot of times we don't do that because we may not feel confident or comfortable with what our financial situation is, but you do your kids a disservice if you aren't involving them. And then also you can engage them with us. We have a mud bug club, which helps your kids to save, and we promise to help you to keep them on the right track and give them the education that they need. So at any point in time that you need our help, whether it's you personally or with your children, we're willing to do so.
All right, we have a question. I guess what they're trying to say is, what should be the priority every month when it comes to finance? It should be just straight to monthly bills first, or family, or health, or putting aside money for debt consolidation. How would you rank a lot of those monthly expenses?
Absolutely. I mean, so the first priority in a situation that is well done is to pay yourself first, right? So saving first is the first priority. Now, I know sometimes we've overextended ourselves, so it takes a while to get to the point that we can do that. But that's always our top priority because it's just crazy for you to get money and have to pay everybody else, and then you look and you don't have anything left. So paying yourself first is the first priority. But outside of that, then you do need to make sure that the bare essentials are covered. Having a roof over your head is quite vital. Having the transportation so that you can continue to get to work, that's important. What it takes to make sure that in that house you have what you need, your lights running, your water running, all of those things are essential, right? But beyond that, once you take care of those necessities, then it's important to start debt acceleration. How can you get out of credit card debt? What do you need to pay? How much more can you apply so that you can make that happen a lot quicker? Making sure you do that. And always, if you make an obligation, the best thing I can tell you, if you make an obligation, if you have taken out any type of loan, that takes precedence. Your cable bill, I promise you, it's not as important, right? It's something nice to have, but it's not a must-have. Those subscriptions, Netflix and all of that, which, a lot of you, if you be honest, you're using your friend's login anyway. But if you have your own, it's not as important, It's not. So some of those things we can give up. My wife and I'll share this, so this is personal, but my wife and I established a pattern or a process by which we would spend money, a plan when we first got married. And so what we said that the way we would prioritize our money, and we've always followed this model, is that we would live well and then drive well, look well, right? So a lot of times what I find is that we do the inverse. So we worry about how we look first. We spend all the money on our clothes and, making sure that we're getting our hair done and all these different things, right? And then we start prioritizing after we see how well we look. Then we say, I want to drive something nice. And then we get to our living situation last. We did that in the inverse, and it's always allowed us to be able to get ahead, and it helps us to make our financial decisions when things come our way. So we can quickly say, no, I'm not going to do that, or yes, I am going to do that in response to how it fits with the plan that we've established. So I would suggest that to you. Obviously, I'm never going to go anywhere looking crazy, but sometimes I think that we put too much priority in how we look and not enough priority in the things that really matter. And your shelter is something that should be important to you.
That's it.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so glad that you all enjoyed it. Or I hope you enjoyed it. I'm assuming that you had a good time with this and that I only managed to cough once because I was really nervous that I was going to cough a lot, and I have my water here just in case I did. That so happens to say Southwest. But I managed to make it without coughing, and I hope we all had a good time, that you learned something. I would say this too, why don't you drop in the comments if you're confident enough with it. Let us know what you're working on this year. Maybe we can see how we can help you to stay on track. I want you to have the same success that I was able to have with losing weight last year by being financially fit. You have a good day.